Google search, traditional search, was almost starting to be monopolized by these huge companies that have been doing SEO for 25 years, you know, like
And now it's all being shooken up.
If your answer's better, it doesn't matter if your web page doesn't have as much authority as a big guy. If your little 3-sentence snippet that you wrote is the best answer for someone's question, you're going to be in that.
This is Patrick Scully, our SEO specialist for Contractor Growth Network. He came on the podcast this week to talk with Sean about everything AI, all the updates that are going on. It's a great conversation. It will be linked at the end of this video. But I went ahead and pulled a few clips specifically that answered the question of what do you need to be aware of and what changes can you make on your website and to your content to make sure you're still getting found in 2025.
People who have content that is old but ranks well now, should they be considering going back and changing that, or?
Yeah, there's definitely some things you can go back and kind of update to make sure that, you know, we call it AI ready. So your content is ready and available for when ChatGPT comes and wants to scrape an answer. The biggest change right now is essentially moving from a full page algorithm to more of a chunk algorithm or a passages. So it's something that's looking for even a paragraph, a couple sentences in, let's say, a blog post or an article that you've written on your site, versus saying, is this full page the best answer to this person's search? That's kind of how it's always been. You know, Google ranks web pages, not websites. So they kind of put up 10 links of, hey, these are the best web pages. You may find your answer on one of these pages. Now it's looking for a few concise sentences or a paragraph or a list of bullet points or a table of data in your content and pulling that out. And the answer could involve a mix of content or these kind of chunks of content from several different websites. So you want to be included in that. But it's not always just going to be kind of your content that's showing anymore.
Cool. So how is that going to change things? Now that's conversational. Like,
for now, what we're doing is going back into that content, making sure it's accurate, because, you know, if you wrote a piece 4 or 5 years ago, there's been updates, there's new stuff, there's new data that you can probably introduce. Making sure if you linked out to any like external websites or external sources, those links are still working, they're still valid, they're still, you know, that data isn't outdated. So updating your external links that you're pointing out to give your kind of readers, you know, more information is important. And then introducing kind of long style questions, making sure those questions are in your content, whereas you used to maybe have like a keyword matched, let's say a H2 heading to on your web page. You may have just had that exact keyword that you think people are searching for to rank that page. Now you're trying to get that answer below that heading into a AI generated answer. So shifting those headings into more like long questions is something that we're seeing a lot of results from right now.
And so H2, for those who aren't too familiar, that would be like the title of like the blog post, right?
It would be more
Or
of
the
like
page.
if you were writing an essay, it would be like the headings of your different sections of that essay. So it
Gotcha.
wouldn't be the title of it. It would be
'Cause
like
that's
those,
H1.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And so that's important to search because that's Google will see those and categorize them so that it knows where to put that information.
Right. So if it's a question that people are actually asking, and then directly below that is a nice, concise, factual answer to that question, that's the best format right now for these systems to go out and like find these answers. So
Yeah.
it's a shift in strategy for us, just in terms of like what we're monitoring and what's important as a, you know, KPI, a key performance indicator. Going, you know, less from maybe clicks are going to drop because a lot of people are getting the answer they want right from search.
Yeah.
We know that it's not a, you know, we're doing SEO isn't working anymore, so our clicks are dropping. It's related to what's going on. So we're making sure that we're tracking, hey, the clicks may have dropped, but you've been cited in, you know, answers across the board and your brand searches are going up, you know, trying to create some correlations there.
So there's just
based on what the new kind of search experience is.
Yeah. So we're just going to have new KPIs to focus on.
Yep.
And as we all know, like clicks aren't always like the end all be all KPI to watch for.
Right.
So it's just going to be new stuff that we need to, when it arises, we need to be on top of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool in a sense because Google search, traditional search, was almost starting to be monopolized by these huge companies that have been doing SEO for 25 years, you know, like Amazons and Reddits and all these sites that like were getting shown on page one because they have massive authority and they've just been around forever.
And now it's all being shooken up.
If your answer's better, it doesn't matter if your web page doesn't have as much authority as a big guy. If your little 3-sentence snippet that you wrote is the best answer for someone's question, you're going to be in that you know, AOV. You still want to focus on traditional SEO. We don't lose that.
Sure.
Because, you know, if the answer you wrote on your page is ranked 1 millionth on Google, chances are ChatGPT or these other systems may not ever crawl it or find it. So you still need to kind of be in that. We're seeing right now like the top 2 pages. So you still need to be there. But if you're there, you don't need to now battle for another couple years to now be on page 1 because you're going up against huge companies. Now, if you're providing that correct answer, you can be included in that you know, instant overview answer. So it's giving people a little bit more visibility and opportunity, I think. And if you kind of take advantage of it, you can really do better than some of these other companies that are not focusing on it. So
yeah, this is quite literally a brand new era.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone's starting off at zero, really.
Right.
For the most part. So like there's a chance for you, like you were just saying, to really just skyrocket if you do it the right way.
Yep.
Yeah. So before we transition into our next segment, you know, think about this. Are your answers on your website, are they actually directly answering the question that people are asking? So you might need to go back and look at your website and if you're listening right now, find out if they are. Because if they're not, maybe you need to change them because that is what sounds like AI is really looking for right now in search.
Yep.